The first time I came to know of the Armour of God was when some clips were shown on the Incredibly Strange Film Show with Jonathan Ross, which I think was in 1989. And after seeing that show, I just went on to collect every single Jackie Chan movie that I could get my hands on. But the one I really wanted to get was Armour of God. Armour of God was released on VHS in the UK by VPD, Video Program Distributors. And it was VPD who brought to the UK pretty much every classic Jackie Chan movie from the 80s, with one or two exceptions. So looking at the films in roughly the order that they were made, this is one of the more interesting ones. VPD actually brought out Master with Cracked Fingers, and quite interesting they didn't have or didn't want to use any actual pictures from the film. So you get this picture that's from Wheels on Meals on the front, and then on the back, the same picture again. It's always a suspicious thing when there's no pictures from the movie on the box. Okay, Project A. This was one of the first Jackie Chan movies I ever rented from the video shop. You can see from the artwork there's this picture of a church on top of a huge mountain, and I was hoping this was the movie. I was hoping this was the one that was the Indiana Jones style movie, because it kind of looks like it from the cover. And if you look on the back of the box now, this kind of weird shape they've done with all the stills from the movie, I don't know what that is meant to be, but they basically took that design and used it for almost every Jackie Chan movie that they put out, as we'll see as we go through them. So Winners and Sinners, this was a really hard one to track down back in the day. I don't think this was as widely distributed as some of the other films, presumably because it's obviously not really a Jackie Chan film. And if you look on the back, see there's that strange shape again with all the stills. Wheels on Meals, yep, really nice painted cover on this one. Sort of a montage of different things from the film, really nicely done. And the painting of Jackie actually looks like him. And it's that pattern of stills again on the back, same as all the others. One thing to spot on these old tapes is that in those days, Sammo Hung was spelt Sammo, S-A-M-O. And on later releases, when they changed it to Sammo with two M's, I was like really annoyed by that. It was kind of off-putting. But technically, it should have two M's because it's Sam Mo, meaning three hairs. So yeah, two M's is actually correct. And I particularly remember when you watch all these tapes, the trailer for the first mission was on almost all of them. Obviously, it wouldn't be on this one, but it was on almost all of them. And I always remember almost word for word the dialogue that's in the trailer, because you just hear it over and over and over. And this is another great cover image for My Lucky Stars. This was the first of these films that I ever saw in terms of the first of the Lucky Stars films. So this was my first time in getting hold of a movie that was ostensibly a Jackie Chan movie, and then watching it and being disappointed to find it wasn't really a Jackie Chan movie and he was hardly in it. Interesting, on the back cover they've used that pattern again for the stills, and mostly on these VPD releases they do have the correct stills for the film, but on this one they've snuck in that Wheels on Meals shot again of Jackie in the black vest, and just below that there's a mysterious picture of a girl, looks to be Japanese, who I don't recognise from this movie at all. Now this is a weird cover. They've given up on the nice artwork this time for Twinkle Twinkle Lucky Stars, and if you look closely, what we've got here is an image of Jackie from Project A. You can see he's holding up his police badge. It's the part from Project A where he's in the hotel and he goes, "I quit," and throws down his badge. And then in the background we have what appears to be a exploding Formula One car. It's probably just some kind of stock picture of an explosion they got from somewhere. And interestingly, I don't think there's a single picture of Jackie Chan on the back here. So here we are with The Armour of God. This was actually quite a widely released movie. I'm not even sure, this may have even had a theatrical release back in the day. I have a feeling it may have done. And on the back, yep, there's that pattern of stills again. Rather dubious painting on the front cover of Project A Part 2. There's something in common with a lot of these. Whenever there is a painted image on the front, they very rarely manage to actually capture what Jackie Chan actually looks like. The face is always a bit dodgy, and this one's definitely the dodgiest. And on the back, yep, it's that pattern of stills again, or they've removed some of them. And there's two shots here, the scene of Jackie in prison, which is stuff that was cut out of the movie and to this day has never been seen. Dragons Forever, one of the most notorious cover designs, because what they've done here is they've used some images from Twinkle Twinkle Lucky Stars on the front. So you've actually got Andy Lau here right on the front cover, and he is not in this movie. There was actually an alternative design for this film that came out with a painted cover, which I'm sure I did have in my collection, but somehow it seems to have disappeared over the years, so annoyingly I can only show you this one. Police Story 2, I love this cover, absolutely love this cover. You'll notice Police Story 1 was not released by VPD, that was released by Palace in the UK. The style's been modernised a bit now because we're kind of getting almost into the 90s, and so they've stopped using that repeated pattern of stills on the back. And now Miracles, or The Canton Godfather, as it's been subtitled. And I remember when you actually watch the movie, this version, when you actually play it, it doesn't say Miracles at all in the opening credits, it just says The Canton Godfather. The rear of the cover, quite similar to the Police Story 2 one. Police Story 3 this time, Super Cop. I remember I had to join a new video rental shop in order to get hold of this film, because all the ones in my town didn't have this film. But there was a shop in a nearby town which did have it, so I literally went and joined and got membership there just so I could rent Police Story 3. Weird cover image, I think, for Twin Dragons. Obviously a kind of posed publicity shot that doesn't really resemble the characters in the film. Okay, I think now this is the last Jackie Chan movie that VPD ever put out. They didn't put out Operation Condor, but this one was made around the same time. Ireland on Fire, aka The Prisoner. This tape is quite rare. It's worth picking up because this version of the film, although it's much shorter than the full-length Mandarin version, this dubbed version does have some extra scenes with Jackie Chan that are not in the Mandarin version. Only a few minutes worth, short stuff, but interesting. If you're a collector and want to get all the footage, you have to get this version as well as the Mandarin version.